In this passage, Jesus is a man named Lazarus from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. When Lazarus was sick, his sisters sent word to Jesus, who told him that this sickness would not end in death but would be for God's glory. Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, and when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. He then asked his disciples to go back to Judea, but they were surprised by his return. Jesus explained that he was going to wake Lazarus up, and his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. Jesus told them that Lazarus is dead, and for their sake, he was glad he was not there so that they may believe. Thomas, also known as Didymus, said to the rest of the disciples, "Let us also go, that we may die with him." Upon his arrival, Jesus found Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. Many Jews had come to comfort Martha and Mary in the loss of their brother. Martha, who had seen Jesus, believed that if Jesus had been there, her brother would not have died. Jesus told her that Lazarus would rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus wept and told the Jews that if they believed, they would see the glory of God. They took away the stone and Jesus called out to Lazarus, who was wrapped with strips of linen and cloth around his face. Jesus then instructed them to take off the grave clothes and let him go. Many of the Jews who had visited Mary and seen what Jesus did believed in him. However, some of them went to the Pharisees and told them about Jesus' actions. The chief priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the Sanhedrin, who believed that letting Lazarus go on like this would lead to the Romans taking away both their temple and nation. One of the high priests, Caiaphas, prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation and the scattered children of God, and from that day on, they plotted to take his life. Jesus withdrew to a region near the wilderness, Ephraim, where he stayed with his disciples. As it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, many people went to Jerusalem for their ceremonial cleansing before the Passover. They kept looking for Jesus, but the chief priests and Pharisees had given orders that anyone who found out where Jesus was should report it so that they